Hey, this is Pastor Richard with the WeTV Dropkick. I'm coming to you from a hospital here in Fargo, actually a parking garage if you can't tell. And unfortunately, I had to come over here to visit a parishioner who had a heart attack, pretty severe heart attack over the weekend. And it's caused me to kind of reflect, this visit here today has caused me to reflect on myself. It's caused me to reflect upon life in general. I mean, if you really think about it, I mean, here's my point. If we really think about it, we're creatures of habit. We go through our routines day in and day out. We have these routines that we go through. And from these routines and from our way of life, our houses and our families and everything that's around us, our vocations, we develop a sense of security, a sense of normalcy as we go through life and just kind of being, swifted along in life. And then things such as heart attacks or cancer or these huge crises of our body hit us, and we find ourselves taken out of, actually stripped and ripped out of these contexts and placed into hospitals. And then when we're in these hospitals, everything is completely different. I mean, we go from a sense of independence where in life we're independent, we can function in these routines, but then when we are in the hospital, we're brought to complete dependence where we depend upon everything, from using the restroom to food to the doctors to the poking of the needles and so forth. And so it's really can be really alarming, can be really a whole worldview shift, if you will. And what can also happen in the midst of this, being stripped out of our routines and placed into this new context where we're completely dependent upon others, is that assurance can actually be stripped from us. I mean, that's the main key to think about this assurance that we can have, that we actually sometimes wrongfully derive from our context, that can be stripped away, and then we're left with zero assurance. And that is really the whole point of a pastoral visit. And at least the way I see the pastoral visit coming into these contexts is that the pastor is then to come into this context where all assurance has been stripped and where there's complete dependence upon everything around, and then to deliver Jesus and his assurance in the midst of this new context. And that really is the whole purpose, like I said, of this pastoral visit, to proclaim Christ into their ears, that for Christ's sake they are forgiven, that the Lord Jesus Christ will never forsake them, that he will be with them to the very end of the day, and then to deliver the very body and blood of Christ into their mouths and to pronounce this gospel that sustains and strengthens their faith in this new context of the hospital. That no matter what happens, whether they're released from the hospital later this week or whether they find themselves being transferred to an ICU unit and possibly face the reality of mortality, that they know that the Lord Jesus Christ is with them. And so this assurance then that comes from the gospel is something that's outside of them. It's something that's derived outside from his word, from the Lord Jesus Christ, that then enters into this new context, the hospital room, the patient's room, and then enters into their hearts and their minds, and then delivers to them this assurance of Jesus Christ, that again, no matter what happens, that the Lord will sustain them. So yeah, this is the reality. I mean, this is, we look at hospitals. I get weak kneed going to them. I'll be honest. I know nobody really enjoys going to hospitals. They remind us of our mortality. They remind us that we are broken, that we will indeed suffer the fate of death someday. But the gospel, the gospel delivers to us and it pronounces to us, and his sacrament of the altar gives to us forgiveness, life, and salvation, that no matter what happens in life or death, that we will not be separated from the love of Christ, that Christ is with us and that he is victorious and that he holds us in this life through hospitals, through disease, through death, and he holds us and then he promises us this blessed resurrection and everlasting life forever. Well, this has been a WeTV Dropkick, and we'll catch you next time.